And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, we are live. TigerBait Live, another edition. Buddy Songy, along with myself, Mike Scarborough. Got a lot to discuss tonight. As you see, the title of the show is Pivotal Game at Ole Miss. I think it's a pivotal game for both LSU and Ole Miss. And is Lane Kiffin ever going to get that marquee win or that exclamation point win on his resume as the head coach at Ole Miss? You don't want it to be this weekend against LSU. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, we're brought to you by Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. We're going to get to as many of your questions and comments as we can in the next hour. And, as always, if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button, share it to your social media. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. But welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough, publisher of TigerBait.com. Hey, listen, Mike's got plenty to talk about. We've got plenty to talk about. It is amazing how fast it goes. Here it is, 33% of the regular season done, 3-1. I think all of us were hoping it would be 4-0, but didn't deserve to beat Florida State in the second half. A lot to talk about. And here's one thing I'll start off with. First time since the 1940s, LSU has played Ole Miss this early. And secondly, Ole Miss played a physical game against Alabama. If LSU can line up and get physical, I think Ole Miss waves a white flag in the second half. You got to jump on them and get them down. But that is tough to play Bama and LSU back-to-back weeks.
They've got a questionable offensive line. They're not running the football very well. I think LSU is going to continue to run the football better. Immediately after the game Saturday night, the John Emery question came up. I think that was one of the things that really irked a lot of LSU fans. And then there's been debates for multiple days about how he handled the clock at the end of it. But the bottom line is because of that one loss against Florida State, while it wasn't in the SEC, if you want to stay in the hunt for the playoffs, there really is no margin for error. And all of these games coming up are pivotal. It goes without saying. But it's also a weird one because of all these road games early in the season, and then LSU's got a stack of home games the back half. And then, of course, Missouri next week, and that one will be at 11 a.m. So LSU's getting also hit with a bunch of 11 a.m. kickoffs this season so far.
Look, LSU Ole Miss, for all of you over 50 or 60, you remembered people would say, go to hell, Ole Miss, and scream it. And there were some incredible rivalries. It'll never get back to those days in the 60s and 70s. But Lane Kiffin is a great offensive coordinator. He's always struggled to have defense. Got Pete Golding to come over from Bama. I don't think Pete's going to get it done in 1 year. It'll take him a couple of years. But this is a very winnable game. LSU a 2.5, 3-point favorite. But once again, you better be a little more aggressive on defense. And I'm hoping that those equipment managers are going to put a little shot of vodka and a little shot of gin with Coach House and Coach Denbrock. This is time to quit serving up vanilla ice cream. Get out the Jackson dart, dink and dunk, tackle in space, and then physically punish them in the second half when they get tired.
Well, and here's the other thing. We've seen it multiple times against LSU this season on special teams where the other team has got some new wrinkle. You had the fake field goal last week that they pulled off in a strong fashion. Defense buckled down and kept them to 3 on that one. But you also wonder when LSU's you want to talk about serve up vanilla ice cream. Is there anything special teams wise that, in games like this on the road that you can steal a possession or whatever? It just seems like after last year was so bad, they just wanted to get the basics, down for this year. But at some point you wonder if they're going to do anything on special teams of note. And so far we haven't seen it at all. And we have not seen Aaron Anderson get another try. So,
and I'm the dumbass that told everybody that special teams would be appreciably better. So, look, I admit when I'm wrong. I will say this. I looked it up just to make sure. LSU did not start to utilize Harold Perkins until after the Tennessee game. It takes a while to get these young pups in. We interviewed Whit Weeks this week. And the only reason Whit Weeks is playing is because he came in the spring and learn the offense. Saban and I used to have this discussion. whole part whole. They teach you the whole offense, then the part that you are, running back, wide receiver, whatever, and then how it works in the scheme of the whole offense. And a lot of these kids, Mike, are struggling picking up the scheme. And that's where you got to be patient with these kids. But I'm a believer that Deshaun Womack should play more than 5 or 6 plays. Jordan Jefferson should get more reps, seeing that Mason has not done a lot of things. Let's be honest. Logan Diggs ought to be rewarded when he runs well. And Josh Williams had 1 carry for 41 yards. Didn't see the ball again carrying it. I just think it's bad for chemistry when you don't reward good plays. Jaden Daniels, 2nd week in a row, co-offensive player of the week. You know the offense is going to be there, but seriously, do you want to see them get up a little quicker, a little faster? Because if you give Jackson Dart time, he will pick and choose who he wants to throw to in that secondary.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're talking about doing well in games and earning more touches once you're doing a game, but that's the dilemma that Frank Wilson has, is that guys in practice are given effort and they deserve playing time on Saturdays. But, man, he's got to know which is his bell cow, and it's Logan Diggs. The 2 tries by Emory to get in the end zone, I just, based on what we have seen of Logan Diggs, I just know on one of those 2 tries he would have gotten in the end zone. And so, look, this LSU football team, the offense, though, overall, Daniels looks not very well first half.
First quarter.
And I'm like, okay, I can see where the nuts people are getting warmed up in the bullpen. But here's the thing. Is mediocre or barely average that you thought he was in the first half, his overall performance earns him co-offensive SEC Player of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. And so I think sometimes we grade this team on such a scale that I think 2019 spoiled everybody. But
well, look, last year spoiled people. Okay, we talked about it last year. After the Tennessee game, nobody thought that they would run off 5 straight games. And of course, they played well. That, to me, is the question, Mike. Can this team put it in overdrive and make a progression like last year's team? Now, it took that ass whipping in Tiger Stadium to Tennessee to actually get everybody. Perkins played 8 plays against Tennessee. After that, they started using him. Mike, I don't want to see Harold Perkins guarding in space anymore. I want to see him blitzing on every passing situation. Oh, by the way, Ole Miss 2nd in the conference in sacks. They're going to come after Jaden Daniels. You better dink and dunk and throw quick. Otherwise, what happens? He can't read the 2nd or 3rd progression. They're all swarming. It's either sack or he runs. Get rid of it quickly. But I do think LSU is certainly better talented. And this Kiffin, look, I know his record against top 25. You realize this would be something. Ole Miss people, I talked to a few Ole Miss people. They're not exactly enamored because they just gave him a ton of money after him and Jimmy Sexton wagged Auburn in front of their face, right?
Yeah, I again, you don't want his first marquee win to come against LSU this weekend, but this is a must-have for him because after losing Alabama, he loses LSU, they're out of it. They're not even out of September, and they're done. They're cooked in the SEC West. So, again, it'll be another year where Ole Miss is not even sniffing Atlanta.
Yeah, you don't ask an Ole Miss fan
and then it makes you remember the great Trev Alberts and his comment. Probably that's exactly 20 years ago. Once a run, always a run. Was that the gist of it?
That's what he said. Oh, by the way, Tiger fans, I'm wearing the 2011 SEC championship hat. Not that I think they're going to win it, Mike, but do you remember the last time the SEC had one team in the top 10 at this point going into week 5? I don't remember it. And so what I'm saying to you is that if they get a little momentum, start to implement these guys, get a little more aggressive on defense, offense, I'm expecting 41 points on Saturday, aren't you?
Yeah.
I picked 41-31. Of course, I had 44 last week. But you win this game, and Missouri now is a trap game. They're going to be undefeated going in at 11 o'clock. But you win those 2 games, and then you got 5 of the last 6. And if you watched Alabama again, they're very beatable. So this could happen. Georgia's not unbeatable. but 1 week at a time, a lot of problems. And I'll ask you, will they flip the switch like they did last year?
I think they're on their way.
Let's go with
but the defense has got to get better. All right, got a big super chat right off the bat. Joel Robinson with $20 super chat. Thank you for that, Joel. Let Harold loose and let him play free. Put him on the line and let him take over the game.
Especially on passing situations. Seriously, have you seen Harold Perkins make a great play guarding a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end? Get him in there. You need the sacks. I got to ask you, was it a cheap call or a legitimate call on the unsportsmanlike penalty when he hit the quarterback?
I know the letter of the law. I think it was a cheap call.
Yeah.
Did you agree with it?
I thought it was a marginal call, and Harold has a tendency to stand over when he sacks you and he talks a lot of smack.
That exacerbates it.
And so it could have pushed him over. But, man, that's a big man, KJ, and he played good. Let's give Arkansas credit. They played good. They really did.
Absolutely. I watched Sam Pittman's post game, and of course, we saw him pregame last week. He's just a class dude. I mean, I feel like every time I talk about Sam Pittman, I'm talking about how great he is. But he's another one where it's just tough to win at Arkansas. And but I do think they beat Texas A&M this weekend.
Max Johnson, by the way, the starter now, threw a touchdown pass to his brother for the first time. I didn't verify this, but somebody over there told me that Brad Johnson opened up his T-shirt and kind of rips it up like the Hulk and sat there with the rest of the game, like the T-shirt and shreds. But proud moment for them. He's going to be in a big opportunity. They host Alabama next weekend, so they may be looking ahead. That game is always close.
Well, there's some people that absolutely believe that Max Johnson is a better fit for Petrino's offense than Wegman is. So, he gets it done. I mean, look, Max got it done at LSU. But boy, they're in a bad way if he gets hurt.
And that's why the SEC is down as a conference, because you don't have the pro future quarterbacks like you've had in the previous years.
Joel, thank you so much for that super chat. Big time. James Moore, hey, Mike and Buddy, if that front seven doesn't play consistently, the secondary is going to get torched the rest of the season. The offense can carry it, but only for so long. Exactly. You have a rough quarter and a half or a rough half of football, and your defensive backfield is getting torched for big plays and giving up yards like they do every week. Your offense, if Bramlett's not in the box score but once or twice, you got to feel pretty good about the odds that you've won the football game. But if he's out there 4 or 5 times, I don't like LSU's chances.
LSU is 102 in the country on third down defense. They've given up 44% conversion on third down. Even worse, they've given up 67% conversion on fourth down, 4 of 6.
Well, I mean, what was some of the third and whatever averages that Jefferson had last
year? And
he
so
came to convert.
Got to get off the field on third down better.
Yep.
Come on, Coach Al. Send them loose. Spike the drink, whatever.
There's a lot of scrutiny heading to that side of the ball.
Well, you know what? You hate to do it when you don't have lockdown corners, and of course they don't play press anyway. But seriously, when you get pressure, you make him throw it before you want to. If they rush like they did, KJ, Jackson Dart will dink and dunk. And let me tell you what, you're going to like the plays Lane Kiffin calls better than Denbrock if they start having a little momentum. Now, can they stop LSU? No. This could be a game that the team in the fourth quarter that has the ball last. But let's hope that they become a little more aggressive because, Mike, you're getting secondary people lost anyway, so at least try to make them throw it quicker.
Yep. Roger Ramjet, hey, Mike and Buddy, us old guys still say go to Ole Miss, go to hell. American Patriot says 100% to that. Yes, Todd Davis, Terry Bussey to choose tomorrow. Everything we get is A&M. Maybe he pulls a fast one. My buddy Jason Howell is going to be there. Longtime Texas guy and covers A&M at Texags. That sure does look like A&M. I know he had a good visit, but it's that's been what it's looking like. American Patriot, I don't think any LSU defense could get as bad as a Coach O defense. Well, would you say a Bo Pelini?
Yeah, I think he's referring to the Pirates' first game. KJ Costello was the quarterback, came in and torched LSU for 620-plus yards through the air. But look, Matt House is a good football coach. We know that. It just takes him a little time to put the pieces to the puzzle. And what I was saying earlier, weren't you impressed with Weeks? He basically said it in the interview, if you didn't see it. If he wasn't here in the spring, he wouldn't be playing. He had a pick six in the spring game. Omar Speights, I think you're going to get back again. I want to see Omar Speights and Harold Perkins rushing the passer at the same time from the edge. We know that Parrish Shan, Jordan Jefferson, obviously Swinson. You like Swinson on passing. You got to pin years back, and I want to see Deshaun Womack. I
want to see more of Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, Jordan Jefferson for sure. So, look, it's good when you have depth, but we'll see. Mekhi Wingo is due for a big game.
Tim DeSales, our buddy, good friends of the show, and of course with Koala, and with a super chat, $25. Thank you, Tim. He says, great show. It was great to see JD respond to adversity and see the offense rally through bad refs. I know our secondary needs some help, but Harold Perkins was in coverage most of the game. Will we see some more pressure this week? Yes.
That's what we're hoping for. Not that we would ever try to tell any coach what to do, but we watch a lot of football. I had a guy tell me this a long time ago, Mike. The state of Louisiana is way down the list on IQ, intelligent quotient. We are. But FQ, football quotient, Coonasses, whatever you want to call Cajuns, Tigers, whatever, they know football, Mike, and just too darn vanilla. And you got to get people and pressure them. Otherwise, with this secondary, they can't cover for long.
Well, since my good buddy Tim came onto the show with a super chat, it's a nice segue into Koala Insulation. And the team at Koala here of Koala Insulation of Baton Rouge are your residential and commercial energy efficiency experts. Without a doubt, I can vouch for it personally. The approaches Koala provides not only help you reduce energy bills and maintain a more comfortable living environment, but can also help reduce airborne allergens, water condensation issues, wear and tear on your HVAC system, and even lengthen the life of your roof shingles. The Koala team provides existing homeowners with a doctor's diagnosis of your home's energy efficiency and can offer several strategies to help you stay more comfortable and save money on energy bills all year long. Koala has the capacity to tackle large spray foam projects and new home construction while being available to help everyday homeowners get some relief from South Louisiana's extreme weather. As an added bonus, most of Koala's projects qualify for federal income tax credits. Give Koala a call today, 225-457-1001 to schedule your free energy efficiency assessment and tell them you heard about it on TigerBait.com, and you're going to get 7% off on your project. Again, I've told you guys the work they did here in my house, and it was amazing from beginning to end. The text alerts were just around the corner. From getting the estimate to getting the work done was 4 working days total. It was amazing. And again, give Koala a try.
T&C, you can trust them, and they're going to communicate with you. You know, it's nice when you do business with people who do what they say they're going to do. And that's a great thing with those folks. And of course, with Pride Roofing and the rest of the sponsors, Absolutely. They do what they tell you they're going to do.
Absolutely. American Patriot with a super chat. Thank you for that, American Patriot, with us every week. Week's interview was great. Yeah, I was about to talk about that. I was wondering after Saturday night, because he's being such a pivotal performer, you know, we going to get him a true freshman for an interview. And I meant to ask Bonnet, can we get him? And I forgot, but it didn't matter. They got him out there, and he was fantastic. That interview on our channel is probably over 3,000 hits right now, and a lot of people having fun with his hairstyle. The missus saw it playing on my screen, and she goes, that guy looks like he's from the 70s. And so, yeah, kind of a butt cut and long. Says he hasn't cut it since he arrived on campus. And but he's fun to watch. He's explosive. He can run. And what's the sky's the limit for him? How much better is he going to be a year from now?
And once again, I don't have it in front of me, but LSU's got about 3 or 4 brothers that are all playing at LSU. And he mentioned Wes being at LSU, was looking to go to South Carolina. He went to the LSU visit, and Whit said, "You're going to be at Carolina?" He goes, "Man, LSU's the deal, man. I'm going there." And of course, that's one of the reasons Witz came over here. West plays on special teams. He also is a backup inside backer. But one of the surprises, what is it about LSU having an inside backer at where number 40, like Perkins last year? He is definitely having a great season.
He's a fun interview, and I hope they keep bringing him out. He's a good one. He's going to be good in that job for several years more to come. American Patriot, thank you so much for that super chat. Let me scroll up and get some of these. Man, Blaine Smith, House needs to go after the season, need a new defensive coordinator. I've seen people say questioning DB coaches. I haven't seen much on the House questioning him. Are you thinking you're more upset with the coaches, or you're seeing it's a Jims and Joes?
Well, no, yeah, there's been talk. People want to bring in Dave Aranda. Once you get a head job, you're not going back to a defensive coordinator spot, especially at LSU. His family lived over here. They did an excellent job. They're not coming back to Baton Rouge. Oh, by the way, Matt House still has the job. And they don't hear any of this talk. They're grinding. Right. They're in that building. But I think what people want more so than anything is to quit playing that soft-ass zone and start disguising, jump around, have 6 at the line of scrimmage, give that quarterback something to question, and where are they bringing the pressure from? Where's Harold Perkins? Where's Omar Speight? Where's Whit Weeks? We saw him shoot out the gut and hit the quarterback the other day. So not making it too
bring Major Burns some more.
Yeah, bring Major. He had a sack. So I think that's what they want. They're seeing too much vanilla on defense, Mike.
Absolutely.
But the firing and leaving of Matt House is pretty much crazy talk right now.
Big Cojones Keller, my dream front 7 is Wingo and Mason Smith at defensive end, Jefferson at nose tackle, Perk at rover, Witten Penn at middle linebacker, and Womack at jack. Okay.
Well, look, Jack has been actually, now they're playing Womack at both spots, but Jack has been Swinson, Ovio Gofu, and Jackson Howard, who we hadn't seen much. He had a good spring. But look, give him a chance. And I just hope, Mike, that when a guy like Deshaun Womack affects plays, when he's in there 5 or 6 plays, he gets a little more opportunity. You know, Kelly made a joke about him keeping his helmet on, and lo and behold. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you can just get through this 2 road game stretch here and get victories, you got a lot of these young players. You mentioned Aaron Anderson. I'm a little disappointed he hadn't got more of a chance. I don't know if he's not practicing well or whatever, but I'm telling you, folks, number 1 is going to score this year. And once he gets his confidence and his comfort zone, he is a little jitterbug that is very tough to bring down.
Well, you know, on one hand, you're like, yeah, I'd like to see more of Anderson, especially since I was like basically his PR guy all season. But at the same time, you're like, okay, look at Brian Thomas. He has developed into being that true number 2 guy. Malik Neighbors is a guy like, yeah, at times he shows he's a number 1 guy, but then he fades a bit. Now he's a number 1 every week, and he's in the same vein as all the number 1 receivers you've had at LSU in the last 2 decades. And then Chris Hilton is doing really good things and stepping up.
But he didn't see a lot of reps last week. That's what I'm saying. Give these kids a chance. It improves chemistry. They bust their butt out there. And I feel bad for Josh Williams. I'll tell you who I really feel bad for is Noah Kane, who hadn't seen the field. He's already scored 2 touchdowns early. But you have to wait your turn. I just hope that they're a little more aggressive. The offense has been fantastic. And if the defense can get off the field on 3rd down and 4th down, you got a chance to really have a special year if you continue to improve each week.
Hunter Fontenot, LSU tore Pete Golding's defense up already, and he had way better players at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the 5 o'clock kickoff, especially on the road. If Jaden Daniels and them start fast, I think that's going to set the tone. The key is to start fast. I think. Andy Whitaker says, I think this is another close game that can go either way. I'll be impressed if they go into Oxford and dominate Ole Miss. This is a good test for this team at a good time.
Yeah, with this defense, you're not going to dominate anybody. I like I said, 41-31 back and forth. But look,
you have to have a pedal to the metal attitude offensively.
And don't forget, folks, if you are behind and that other team has the football, that clock is running, and you can get into.
Well, that's what Arkansas was doing. I mean, what did LSU have? One possession for almost 2/3 or more of the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked up. I couldn't believe. I was Brian Lazar sitting. I'm like, man, if it wasn't for TV commercial, it was a 6 o'clock. I said this game could be over at 7:30.
It was incredibly fast because that's what I'm saying. And he was picking up, and they wasn't going after him. And you better get after Jackson Dart if you give him time. Oh, by the way, he's their leading rusher. Judkins has not had a good year, averaging 3.5 a carry or 2.5 a carry, something really bad. Only 4 touchdowns. You got to hit Jackson Dart and make him uncomfortable.
If you can't get to him, this is
yeah.
When you start talking about offensive lines that you face, this is not one of them. That's going to be in your top 3 or 4 that you face all season.
How about a stunt from the outside to the inside? How about with Weeks? How about a little more pressure? Yeah, you're going to get burned on some. You're going to also make some big plays if you get aggressive.
Creek Dweller, Diggs, he's looked great, strong running. Mario's crystal ball. John Emery has been recruited over, honestly. I don't know if it's recruited over. It's just attrition, being ineligible, and then all of a sudden everybody gets healthy. Good for Frank Wilson, but at the same time, a lot of people are like, enough of the musical chairs, and settle on Logan Diggs. Let's get Josh Williams his touches, and
then the K train.
But you want to see some more Caleb Jackson and get him going.
That's what I was talking about. Whole. Caleb Jackson is not a great pass protector. Caleb Jackson doesn't know every part of that offense, but he runs like a bull out of China, and he's going to fumble and he's going to have a mistake, but that is a load. He deserves to see the field quicker, in my opinion, before John Emery, who's still rusty.
You know how thin they were at running back in the spring. Trey Holly was a midterm grad. What is he thinking, and what are we to think about him not even getting a chance in the Grambling game?
I think they're going to redshirt him. But
even though they're going to redshirt him, why wouldn't he get to touch a ball at least?
Look.
I mean, what does that say about where he
It's hard when you have this many run backs. Obviously, there'll be some attrition. By the way, Caden Durham coming in is having a pretty damn good year from what I hear.
Bart Smokey, I want to also see blitzes in the A and B gaps.
Thank you, Bart.
Absolutely.
One of the nicest guys, Mike. I have yet to meet somebody that doesn't talk highly about Bart Smokey.
Absolutely. Been knowing him for over 20 years. And by the way, if you're in central Louisiana, what is it, 96.9 Rocks? Every Monday afternoon from 3 to 5 o'clock, it's Tiger Talk. And it's a great LSU sports talk show. And Bart Smokey's one of the hosts. And I usually join him from 5:45 to 6 every Monday evening. Been doing that spot for over 20 years. And it's a great show. American Patriot. Perkins needs to stop standing over players and staring them down. He is going to get a flag at a bad time. It's making me nervous.
That's why I think he got the unsportsmanlike penalty. Perk has done this. He's had some penalties before. He stood over people. Look, it's the brand. Okay. You're trying to show everybody that's what I'm all about. They call it, it's him, HIM, him. It's him. I think a little bit of that. Look, if you wasn't giving up so many yards and you had more stats, maybe. If you had 3 or 4 sacks like you did against Arkansas, maybe. But come on, man, celebrate with your teammates and quit trying to intimidate, because I do think they call it on you when it's a marginal call like just last weekend.
Absolutely. All right. Of course, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com is Pride Roofing. Let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hey, it's Michael and Alex again with Pride Roofing. Here we grow again. Did your roof get denied during Hurricane Ida?
The insurance company is playing a game with you.
Don't forget, August 29th is your 2-year anniversary to make a claim.
Your neighbor got new roof. Why not you?
Pay your deductible. We're Fortified certified.
We do your roof. You came on the Pride umbrella. Bet on Pride.
855
Pride
16.
There you go. Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez with Pride Roofing. Mike Faraday, of course, a Broadmoor High grad. I grew up with him, and an LSU grad. And give him a call, 855 Pride 16. Tell him you heard about him right here on TigerBait.com. I've got another gentleman tomorrow that I've got to set up with his free TigerBait premium for a year because he called Pride Roofing, 855 Pride 16. Told him I heard about him on TigerBait, and he's getting TigerBait premium free for a year. They're going to run that promotion to the end of days, and you can't beat it. So if you got any questionable issues with your roof, whether it's your home or your commercial business, they can take care of you. 855 Pride 16 anywhere in South Louisiana.
Hey, we appreciate PFM and his family and others who have not only called but done business with him. All we ask is an opportunity. Look, we don't spend a lot of money, Mike, on roofing commercials in Baton Rouge. I mean, it's inundated. What we tell you is that we take great pride in the job that we do. The roof over your head is more important than the roof over ours. Metal roofs continue to be hot. Don't forget expanding in the Hammond. Baton Rouge, Mike Kirby and the guys, 275-2041. If you get the answering machine, leave a message. Anywhere else in the surrounding South Louisiana and southern part of the Gulf South, all the way to Mobile, all the way to Mississippi, 855 Pride 16. But you will not be disappointed. Great people, once again, they care and will treat you right.
Tim DeSales with another comment. He said, I was disappointed by two things at the game. One, Arkansas had the worst travel presence I've seen for an SEC game in a long time. And two, so many people leaving after the third quarter in a tight game. You know what? Someone brought that up to me, Tim, and is LSU getting to be too corporate? You know, whether it's, and look, that in this day and age with NIL, there's going to be a lot of aspects of everything now that looks like an NFL game. But is there a lot of tickets and folks in the stadium who are not necessarily huge diehards that maybe they've been given tickets and they're going for the party? Maybe they stay a while and then they exit.
Well, look, I haven't been to a game in 5 or 6 years. Number one, with my eyesight, it's not a great view from the 10-yard line in the press box. But I like to watch other games to see how LSU stacks up on that particular weekend with other teams. They did pan to the shot, and there were a lot of empty seats in the end zone. Some people told me those were Arkansas seats that they did not buy or didn't fill. But it's a whole different experience now than going many, many years ago. Look, I'm not saying it's bad, but
most athletic directors say they built stadiums too big, that they wish they hadn't gone 100 plus.
Everybody's downsized,
and if they would like to take some out and make boxes and more fun party areas and suites.
Traffic is a nightmare and it's problematic almost every weekend. Concessions, there's always a bitch session about that. Bottom line is it costs a lot of money to go out there. I had a bunch of people that went tailgate and didn't go to the game, but I just think this is happening everywhere because of the young people today doing things differently than you and our generation did.
Yeah. Yeah, in traffic, they ruined traffic flow there. Well, you guys, I went on a little rant in our post game. That's why we were so late getting started Saturday night. I live in the Blue Bonnet Nicholson area, and they forced me to go downtown, get on the interstate at I guess Louise Street, and then go all the way down I-10 and hit Blue Bonnet at the mall to get home, because they wouldn't let you take a left or a right. They wouldn't let you take a right on Nicholson or a left on River Road. And they told me, we've always done that contraflow. That's a lie. Because there was a game or two last year where the game was a blowout and the stadium was empty at halftime. and you still couldn't get home. And I don't leave the stadium until an hour after the game's over with, at least. The thrill, they should try stopping at a car dealership to stretch before that game Saturday. Yeah, that's a good idea. This offense scary when they play and start fast. Go Tigers. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. The thrill.
Hey, real quick, because like I said, I'm not up in the press box, but what were some of the media members saying about Jaden Daniels when he had a rough start? Impressed that he came back. To me, the biggest play in the game to affect the momentum was when Brian Thomas caught that 49-yarder right before halftime. You score, and then you get in the football. He caught another 49-yarder. But, man, until that touchdown reception, you didn't know how many. LSU had 3 points. You did not know what they were going to have in this game. So got to start appreciably quicker. And everybody making their jokes. Of course, the difference, this one's at 5 versus 11 o'clock at Mississippi State.
Jonah Goldberg with a super chat. He doesn't give a comment, but if you he gives one. Thank you for the super chat, and I found your comment. I wish they would run the ball more, Diggs and Jackson over and over again. I don't think this is Jonah Goldberg, the national political pundit, but same name. And I agree with you. I'd like to see more running the football. But look, man, if they can keep you off balance and they get it done in the air and then hand it off to Diggs, but I just love the way Diggs is north-south, and you think he's bottled up, and he gets you at least 3 or 4.
I go Diggs first, Williams second, Josh Williams second, and then the K-Train third. They have not been kicking off. LSU hadn't really returned to kickoff for the last couple of weeks. Hey, when I wish somebody in the media would ask Brian Kelly, because I don't really know the answer. Are they purposely kicking it and pooch kicking it and wanting them to return, or it looks like about 50% of the kickoffs are going in the end zone and they start at the 25. I think last year they kicked off out the end zone probably 80-something% of the time. I'm wondering what the strategic point, because I haven't seen them pin them back only, but a couple times they have given up some returns on kickoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're doing that on purpose or what, but special teams, man. I just, what did you think on the fake? Did anybody in the press box call that one?
No.
And what were they saying about JD when he started bad?
Another series or two like that, and people were ready for Nussmeier.
Nelson's not coming in unless Jaden Daniels is hurt or it's a blowout.
Jonah, thank you for that super chat. And here's Trucking with Casper with another one, $20. Thank you, Casper. How about them Tigers won $250 on underdog for JD, Neighbors, Thomas, and others all going higher.
I didn't want to say it, but I was saying it to myself.
What does that mean? What does that mean when he says won $250 on underdog? What does underdog mean? Is that in a betting? What is he trying to say? You can place wages on what they would do during a game?
I don't know exactly what he's talking about there.
Explain that to me, Casper, or somebody.
But hey, we appreciate all the donations to the show.
Absolutely. Casper's he's almost like a personal sponsor of us each and every week, and we thank him. All right, guys. I'm trying to view my screen around this huge new microphone. Raymond, hey, Mike and Buddy, who is your comp for Caleb Jackson right now? A shiftier, more nimble Ali Broussard? I've kind of thought, Ali might be Ali Broussard with maybe more speed. That one's not bad, to be honest with you. I was kind of giving him a comp between Toefield and Fournette, like a combo of those two. But Ali Broussard might be right there too. That might not be a bad one.
We haven't seen him enough to know what his potential is. Physically, he could be a combination of Fournette, who he emulated with the run over a couple weeks ago, or Cecil the Diesel Collins, who was probably the greatest player who never took it to the next level because of problems. That being said, look, we saw him in practice. He's got a long way to go to be a complete player. But even if he only knows 10 plays, 3 or 4 receptions and 4 or 5 runs, I think the fan base would like to see him a little bit more because he does punish people. He's going to fumble. He's going to make a mistake. He's a freshman. But, man, I think he's the most explosive physical back that they have.
Toefield was 5'11", 230.
Mm-hmm.
And so Caleb, you say was what, 6 foot?
They list him at 6 foot 2 1/4 right now.
So that's pretty close to my thought.
And Fournette played in that 220 to 230.
But he's also a 10-4, 10-5, 100 meter guy.
Yeah.
So, you know,
high 10-5, I think.
Yeah. Fire 349. Mike Greg Clayton is like a government savings bond. Very little return, but zero risk.
That's a great one. I might want to use
but
that.
Much better than a muff pump. That is a good one, Fire. I like that one.
It's almost deja vu to see Malik Neighbors do it and then not get a chance. And now Aaron Anderson has not had an opportunity. He's tried to make some things happen, and it just hadn't worked. I'm hoping that the kid can stay patient because I do think he's got the talent. But people forget he didn't play last year. Caleb Jackson didn't hardly play last year in his senior year. John Emery didn't play. It takes Mason Smith. It takes time for the rust to come off. I'm hoping these guys start to play better and better each week with the rust falling off.
Absolutely. I'm gonna knock out a couple of bills, and you guys, Drip IV. We've been talking about it. You've been struggling to lose weight. Maybe you heard of the weight loss injections from a friend or a family member. I've been joking. You see some media guys out there that are the thinnest they've ever been. It's they're doing these. I assure you, they haven't told me, but what is it? It's semaglutide, and Drip IV's got it. And get over and see them. Of course, they're over there by Iverstein Farms and Perkins Crossing next to Sushiyama. Give them a call, 225-256-3634. And the weight loss, I've got multiple BFFs that they're all on it, and the weight loss is real. And they've got the good stuff for you there. And the prices are right. And, of course, Drip IV, if you're dehydrated, they are now open on weekends, a half a day on Saturday and Sunday. You had too many adult beverages on either night, head there the next day. They're going to get you feeling good. You'll be looking for a nice brunch location soon after after you're done getting that. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to give you $10 off your first drip. And there's also a location in Lafayette off of Cordoba off of Ambassador Caffrey, the First Medical Office building on the right, and go see them. Brittany and her group are second to none. And here we go. Alumni Hall. Tiger fans, you want to show your LSU Tiger pride? Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, Hatch, Yeti, gifts and accessories. LSU students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store every day, and you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Perkins Row, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Tiger fans shop, and they're adding all the fall and winter pullovers. All the good stuff has been coming in daily. I'm constantly monitoring to see what new products they have going in. You got to go in their beautiful store, and please tell them that you heard about them on TigerBait right there in Perkins Row. They've got it all for you if you're an LSU fan. Dane Bergeron, I want to see the Brian Kelly from the Alabama game last year. He has looked lost on the sidelines this year.
Well, Snake, I enjoyed Shark and Snake and everybody having a great discussion. Of course, that's one of the advantages of being a member. You interact with other members and a lot of talk about Brian Kelly at the end of the game. We may get to that before the end of the show.
Some of the biggest homers I know and the biggest BK champions were not happy with the way that ending of that game was.
Well, I was just going to say, but Snake is everywhere, man. He goes to all these shows. He's seen everywhere. I mean, Snake is a national treasure. We talk about trucking with Casper, but hey, I appreciate the loyalty and coming up with us every Wednesday night. But let me just say this about the end of the game. And we saw 14 years ago. You remember what happened at Ole Miss 14 years ago? Clock it.
Oh, okay.
Clock the freaking ball.
You know what I've had in my mind?
Sorry, I got a little excited.
It's been 20 years since Eli Manning fell down.
Yeah, right. But this was when they didn't get the playoff. And so LSU fans have a real phobia about mismanagement of the clock at the end of the game. We're sorry, BK. We've got baggage. It's called football baggage. But you don't in your home stadium when the other team has no timeouts. You don't go call timeout and stop the clock. You keep the clock running. You get your quarterback in the shotgun snap to move over 3 yards and center the football in the center of the field so that it's not an angled kick, and you let the clock run. And you don't burn those timeouts. And this is standard protocol. He got away with it, but that was crazy to call all those timeouts.
Tim DeSales agrees with another super chat. He says BK caught some flack for clock management at the end of the quarter. I thought it wasn't perfect, but the criticism is a little overboard. What do you think? There's some people who are passionate about it, like Buddy has been, right? But I mean, I was down on the field and it wasn't registering with me. I was at the end of the game and I was actually standing right there underneath the goalpost when Ramos kicked the winner, but it wasn't dawning on me. I really, honest to God, I wasn't thinking about it until people started, man, what was he crazy? You know, everybody was going berserk in the press box. And when the media all arrived in the, but they really didn't question it in the post game, did they?
Oh, no, they did. They asked him a couple times, but look, what I was trying to point out is
press
this.
him.
You snap it with 3 or 4 seconds. You put it in the center of the field, and the clock continues to run. You save your timeouts so that if you have to spike it or stop the clock, you can. But you save your timeouts. You call the last one with 3 seconds right in the middle of the field. You kick it. He called timeout, and what that did is that let Arkansas. Here's the kicker. Arkansas, a lot of people wanted Arkansas to let them score. I don't know if you got this.
And he said he didn't think they would do it.
No, he wasn't going to score. So,
yeah.
Bottom line is that it did not cost him anything, but I hope he doesn't call timeouts like that. Keep the clock running, save the timeout at the end for the field goal, and you should center it in the middle of the field.
I agree with what Brian Lazar said. These coaches have a lot going on. There's with all these guys, the analysts, there should be someone that's their entire job during the game is to stand next to BK and has the ultimate grasp on all those little things, because if he's not doing it right, he can throw an elbow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the reason I got so animated because now we got to have fun with the Notre Dame fans. And they hate Brian Kelly. Don't they? They hate him like you know what.
Tim, thank you for that super chat. Big time, man.
Can you imagine in Baton Rouge, folks, if Brian Kelly had 2 plays at the end of the game on defense and only had 10 men on the field? Happened to Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, Mike, and he called a timeout and still didn't get the 11th player on the field on defense. The point is not to rub a little salt in the wound of the Irish. That was a tough loss for them on the last play of the game. But
I was pulling for Ohio State.
Blank
and that's
happens.
Rare.
Blank happens. And there used to be a bumper sticker that used to say that. But it's not that easy. We talk about it. They're doing it in real time. We're talking about it after the fact. But seriously, can you imagine if Kelly got beat on the last play of the game and he had 10 on the field in defense the last 2 plays? Holy cow.
And what about Ryan Day? and then, of course, not only his – he had that. He had to deal with Lou Holtz going back and forth. You can't tell me that man's not feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
If you're an Ohio State coach and you lose to Michigan, what happens if he loses again to Michigan?
Ooh, that'd be 3 years in a row.
I mean, they'll run him off.
Well, once again, you got to remember all these coaches have great agents and they have a lot of buyout. Somebody was telling me they're going to run Kiffin off. Kiffin just got a ton of money more and another buyout. So
let me tell you something. I bring it up just about every football season. He still doesn't have a lick of gray in that beard. Ryan Day.
No,
that is a lie. That is a fraud.
He's got an NIL deal. He's got an NIL deal with Just for Men.
Drop the S-bomb. See that? He's coloring it.
Oh, Mike's getting spicy tonight.
Trucking with Casper with another super chat. It's a betting app, Underdog Fantasy, so it's just higher, lower fantasy betting. Okay. I had JD 2.5 higher touchdowns, Neighbors higher than 86.5 yards, and Thomas higher than 64.5. KJ higher and 54 total yards, and Armstrong higher and 4 receptions. They hit all. I mean, it's amazing. You can bet anything now, huh?
All right, Casper, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Crystal Ball says Mason Taylor scores his first touchdown reception this weekend. I hope he's closer. What did he say, 70% last week? I hope he's about 80%. Mason Taylor, 86, touchdown reception. Put some money on it, Casper. And if I'm wrong, I'll say it.
He's getting everybody their first touchdowns. Mason, and you got Aaron Anderson. When's Aaron Anderson's coming?
Aaron Anderson's got to see the field to score.
All right.
86 is in the zone this week.
Thank you again, Casper. Big time. Ryan Day is a tool, says Fire 3449.
He went off, man. I tell you what, he had so much adrenaline and all the things and the emotions built up. And then he carried it on, and then he's sitting there worried about poor Lou Holtz, who obviously is lacking wits at his age. But basically, he was talking about the physicality, a line up, and win games the old-fashioned way. And he's got to win a few more games before people are going to get off him. He got the best wide receivers in the world. His quarterbacks are always good. He gets all the linemen. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on him to beat Michigan.
Andy Whitaker, Notre Dame fans hate BK because LSU's a better job than Notre Dame, and BK showed that to be true. Yeah, I tell you this. I've said it before on this show. I think once a coach hits that 7-year mark, that you say the 7-year itch in marriage, I think the fan base, even if a coach is winning 10-plus games every year, at a certain point, you just get tired of it. You get tired of their press conferences. You get tired of the way they handle controversy, whether they're the type of coach that throws players under the bus or doesn't, you can't win. They get mad if the coach doesn't single out players, whatever it is. I mean, how many fans had enough of Les Miles at the 7-year mark? He went well beyond. I guarantee in Tuscaloosa, there's people who are tired of Saban.
If Saban loses to Jimbo in 2 weeks, they play A&M in 2 weeks. If he loses that game, you're going to see Feinbaum and the Choppers, who had the knee pads with Nick on one knee and Saban on the next knee. You know the deal. They will start to distance themselves from him. That fan base, of course, is spoiled as anybody. You agreed in football,
absolutely,
Alabama?
Absolutely. And I maintain once he retires, they'll be right back into the Shula Dubose.
Well, who wants to succeed in it?
Yep. Dave Bergeron. I had enough of Les Miles after year 1. They should have ran him in 2008. Bottom line. Kylan Jackson being hurt is actually hurting us. Major Burns is not it. I want to see more Ryan Yates and with Andre Sam. They're getting Yates some more time back there. Here's the other part of it. LSU has played some athletic quarterbacks that have bought time and they haven't gotten to them. And these DBs are running around back there. I just kind of hope towards the end of the year that they start to find their way, that this team, that these guys get tired of being maligned and start to get it together and come up with the right combinations of which personnel on the defensive line that are out there, right linebackers and the right DBs in nickel and dime and everything else.
I'll just add Major Burns does lead this team in tackles. He probably leads the team in missed tackles too. He's missed a handful of tackles this year. Always got to tackle better. And we know after 4 or 5 games, you should do a better job of coming up, tackling. One of the keys this weekend, Mike, we mentioned getting off the field on 3rd down, but coming up and tackling in space. But everybody wants to move out Major Burns. He leads the team in tackles. Andre Sam's up there in the top 5. All the leading tackles on the teams are DBs or linebackers. That D-line has got to step up and start doing a better job. And that means from the get-go, if you let them get pushed back, they haven't had any semblance of running the game. We know that the secondary is going to give up some plays, but Major Burns, I'm going to say he's leading the team in tackles, so I don't want to see anybody replace him right now. Ryan Yates is playing nickel and dime. Kylan Jackson has not seen the field hardly at all that I've seen other than special teams. Toviano has not really seen the field. I think you're going to need those guys down the road. But look, as I said, you're not going to pick up this defense that quickly. It's very complicated. It's hard for a kid to pick it up and play the first year if he doesn't come as an early enrollee.
You have a game prediction yet?
41-31, LSU over Ole Miss.
I don't have one yet, but I'm probably in that realm. But 41 means that LSU's starting fast. So that's the key to me. And guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. And thanks so much for spreading the word about the show. Our YouTube channel has been growing, and I've got a lot there for you. I was out at both men's and women's basketball practices, and got a lot of footage there from that, both Matt McMahon and Kim Mulkey pressers, player interviews, the works. And we'll be back here Saturday, probably around 9:30, a little after 9, with our post-game show, Preston and I. And so tune in for that. And thanks to all you guys and all the super chats tonight, big time. Anything you want to add, buddy?
Go to hell, Ole Miss.
All right. All right, guys. Good night.